Government. At this time, I'll call the Paulding County Board of Commissioners work session for December the 8th, 2020 to order. And y'all help me out with any elected officials, any city folks, or Brian, if you...
I think I see Keith Dunn back there.
Yeah, Commissioner-elect Keith Dunn is in the back row, and thank you for being here, Keith. Thank you, Brian. Got your cell phone still on, turn it off, please. And we're so happy this morning to have Pastor Steve Whipple from the Church of the Ridge to bring us our invocation. Steve, come on up, please. And to also lead us in the flag. If you're able, please stand.
Join me in the pledge to the flag first, and then we'll pray. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would you bow with me for prayer? Father, thank you for this beautiful day you've given us. God, I thank you for these men and women of our county who give of themselves to serve this community. And God, we pray right now, most of all, that you would just give them wisdom. Your word says that if any of us lack wisdom, that we should just ask, and that you give it generously. And so I ask that for these leaders in our community, and not only here in Paulding County, but across our state and across our nation, right now, especially in some crazy times. And God, as we seek you for wisdom, we seek you for healing for our land. We pray, God, that if it would please you, that you would bring an end to this pandemic, that you would give wisdom to leaders in the medical community who are seeking solutions. But God, we just pray that you would do something miraculous that only you could do, and that the world would notice. Father, as we approach this Christmas season, we thank you for Christmas. We thank you for the fact that you came to us when we could not come to you. God, we thank you that love, peace, faith, and hope, and joy all came in Jesus. And we pray that we would keep our eyes and focus on him, and our hearts focused on him during this season. God, we pray all of these things in Christ's name. Amen.
Pastor Steve, nothing short of inspirational. Thank you so much for being here and just sharing your insight. Under minutes, the November 10th, 2020 work session minutes, and the November 10th, 2020 board meeting minutes, and the December 1st, 2020 called joint meeting minutes are all available for your review. Beginning announcements, we'll start with the Positively Paulding segment on our Employee of the Month, Mr. Logan Sanchez.
Dedicated,
Determined,
dependable, a hard worker, and yeah, just an all over, just good guy. Logan was out on the road. He was in a subdivision, and he came across a teenage girl who was walking her dog. There was another dog that attacked her dog. So Logan was there to help the girl to get the dog off of her dog.
I called Joy, for help, and then she called her mom for help. And after that, her mom was very thankful that I came and saved her.
Really appreciated that Logan just stayed with her and kept her calm until they could get there. And that's the kind of care and compassion that makes Logan special.
Congratulations, Logan. Got a lot of employees like that, don't we? The Paulding County Board of Commissioners would like to present John Cuban, the Senior Vice President and Wellstar Paulding President, with a proclamation honoring Wellstar Paulding for receiving the prestigious Malcolm Baldridge National Quality Award. And John Cuban, the Vice President should be on the line here.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I've got him. John, you there?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman?
Good morning, John. Can you hear me all right as I read this proclamation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, here we go. Whereas beginning in 1957, the hospital functioned independently as a 25-bed facility before joining Wellstar Health System in 1994. In 2014, Wellstar Hospital relocated to a state-of-the-art 295,000 square foot facility and later expanded in 2016 and with 112 beds. Whereas Paulding Hospital espouses a neighbors caring for neighbors culture throughout the hospital and the Paulding community and has continually provided high-quality care to every neighbor throughout the challenges of the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. Whereas Wellstar services include general medicine, surgery, critical care, telemetry, and more. Outpatient services include imaging, non-invasive cardiology, infusion, rehabilitation, gastrointestinal lab, surgery, oncology, and adult and pediatric emergency services. Whereas the hospital has consistently demonstrated sustained high levels of performance that exceed relevant comparisons in measures of its core competencies, patient safety and workforce encouragement, and financial and market performance also. Whereas Wellstar Paulding Hospital has recently been awarded the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award, the highest quality award in the country, recognizing United States organizations in the business, healthcare, education, and nonprofit sectors for performance excellence. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, David L. Carmichael, by virtue of the authority vested in me, do hereby congratulate the physicians, team members, and volunteers of Wellstar Paulding Hospital for their dedication to providing compassionate and high-quality care to every Paulding neighbor, and for the hospital's accomplishment of receiving this prestigious Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award. Wow, that's impressive. And John, we're so excited for you all receiving this award, and welcome you to say any statements you want to. Sorry you couldn't be in person, but I know your plate's full with the increases in the challenges that we're having.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do have a few things would like to share. Certainly deeply appreciative of this group, and just want to thank you very much for recognizing the hard work of Wellstar Paulding, especially in our ongoing efforts to provide world-class care to our neighbors in an unprecedented time. We use the cultural motto, neighbors caring for neighbors, to set the expectations with our team of how we treat each other, and certainly that fits very well with the Paulding community. We're excited to share the Malcolm Baldrige National Quality Award with the community. We could not do this without the support of the community, and so we thank you for the support you've given the hospital and our team members. Your support is the reason that we're able to deliver performance excellence and be recognized for doing so through such a prestigious award. As you mentioned, it is the highest quality award in the country. It is a presidential award given under the Office of the President and the U.S. Secretary of Commerce. And so we're excited to be one of only 2 hospitals recognized this year as Baldrige recipients, and only 27 have ever received the recognition. We take a lot of pride in our philosophy of neighbors caring for neighbors, and want to bring up that we're excited to deliver in the next couple of months our next line of service in Paulding. We are starting a level 4 trauma emergency care designation, which will allow us to provide trauma care right here close to home when unexpected happens. And being certified as a level 4 trauma center, we'll be able to have specialized trauma physicians 24/7, provide immediate evaluation, stabilization, treatment for high acuity. And additionally, we'll be growing and enhancing our intensive care unit to meet those needs and certainly meet the growing needs of the community. A lot of this requires life-saving equipment and advanced training for our clinicians. And so we are undergoing an effort to fundraise for this designation, and we've raised over 75% of the funds needed, but we've got a goal of $750,000 to help bring in state-of-the-art equipment into the Paulding area. And so we appreciate the opportunity to talk about that today. And if anyone is interested in supporting, please let us know. And if you have supported, we're very appreciative. And again, want to thank this group for this recognition. We all work in healthcare because we want to impact people's lives, and we want to make our community healthier. And it is certainly not a recognition that everything we do is perfect, but recognition that we are focused on continual improvement and excellence. And certainly proud to be part of the Paulding community. And again, thank you to each of you for this recognition.
Thank you, John, so much for calling in and for giving us that further description of all the great things that you've been doing. We're so glad to have you here. Have a great day.
Yes, sir. Thank you all.
The Board of Commissioners would like to recognize County Emergency Management Agency Deputy Director Stephen Dooley on his recent accomplishment of completing the Georgia Professional Level Certification in Emergency Management, which is the master's degree in that field. It's being presented by the GEMA Homeland Security Representative Tim Reeve. Glad to have you here, Tim. And he's also the GEMA Field Coordinator for Area 6. I don't know where that is, but maybe you could tell us. And Stephen?
Certainly, sir. Well, Mr. Chairman and Board, thank you for allowing me to be here this morning. And the area that I cover, Area 6, is Northwest Georgia, which Paulding County is pretty much right in the middle of, so that's a good thing. First of all, just want to take just a moment to tell you that you guys should be very proud of the emergency management staff that you guys have here, and I know that you are, but I always like to take that opportunity. They really go above and beyond, and they do a great job. They're great to work with, and definitely a professional staff. This morning we're here to really recognize Mr. Stephen Dooley, though. Stephen has gone above and beyond in his training and in his professional development with emergency management. The Professional Certified Emergency Manager program that we're going to present him with today has been around since the early 1990s. And since the early 1990s, there's only been 105 emergency managers throughout the state of Georgia who have reached this level of professionalism. So definitely needs to be commended for that. Just let me go over a few highlights about what we're talking about. The requirements for the certification include a minimum of 5 years of experience and over 500 hours of continuing education in a variety of disciplines and specialties, from mitigation, response and recovery, incident command, and shelter operations. Full-scale exercise design, development and implementation, and lastly, an additional 5 contributions to the profession through teaching, research, community involvement, or published articles. All of these things go under review by a professional review board comprised of other state and local emergency managers. And today, we're able to present this prestigious certification to Mr. Stephen Dooley. So thank you again for the opportunity. And again, please congratulate Mr. Stephen.
Y'all want to come over here?
We'll come over here with that. Chief, would you like to take a moment and say a couple things?
Yeah.
Put me on the spot here.
Yes, sir. very proud of Stephen. I think everybody knows we've all been working with Stephen, all the department heads and the commissioners. We know what he can do. He's engaged with this COVID, and before that, with all the disasters we've had, he's just been a blessing to have. When Stephen walked in my door, when he was applying for this position, and I think, Frank, you've seen the book he had. He had a binder about 6 inches thick, and it was full of certificates and all the training he's had. So he's well respected in the community. He's well respected in the state of Georgia. Everybody knows who Stephen Dooley is in the state of Georgia. He was just unanimously selected as the chairman for Area 6. They had asked him to do that so recently at a meeting. So he is well respected, and he really represents Paulding County with a lot of pride and dedication, and just so proud of him. So thank you.
Before I go home on Friday afternoon, I go into Frank Baker's office and say, hey, what did Dooley say? The Board of Commissioners would like to present Alfred Craton with a proclamation recognizing his service of 26 years on the Tax Assessors Board, his faithful service to the citizens of the community in Paulding County. And Mr. Craton could not be here this morning, but we're glad to have Chief Appraiser James Stokes to receive the proclamation. So come on.
Both at the same time?
I was going to do separately, but
Okay.
two separate items on the agenda. So presented to Alfred Craton, whereas Alfred Craton is a lifelong resident of Paulding County and a retired Georgia forester, and whereas Mr. Craton was appointed to the Board of Tax Assessors on January the 1st, 1994, therefore serving Paulding County for 26 years, of which 18 of those years he has been elected the chairman. Whereas Mr. Craton has continuously maintained annual education requirements as required by the Georgia law, he maintained an accurate and timely digest submission to the Georgia Department of Revenue while meeting all statutory requirements. And whereas Mr. Craton ensured all citizens received fair and respectful treatment by the Paulding County appraisal staff, and whereas Mr. Craton served the citizens of Paulding County more than 2.5 decades, therefore I, David L. Carmichael, Chairman of the Paulding County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim December the 8th, 2020 as Alfred Craton Day for his faithful service to the citizens of our community and Paulding County. I hope he's watching.
I believe he is.
Would you like to say some words about him, James?
Yeah, Mr. Craton has been a mentor to me for a number of years. He was here when I first came here, and if there's one thing Mr. Craton has always mentored to me is his service to our community. And I think that's probably the foundation of our office, is the fairness to everybody and our service to our community.
Well, let's give Mr. Craton a hand. Maybe he's watching. The Board of Commissioners would like to present Art Fulbright with a proclamation recognizing his service of 15 years on the Board of Tax Assessors and his faithful service to the citizens and community of Paulding County. The proclamation reads, whereas, Mr. Fulbright, come on up so we can get you in your proper place for recognition. Looks like the whole board's here today.
Oh, except Johnny. Well, Johnny's here. Well, I'm here.
Okay.
Good morning, Randy.
Good morning, sir.
Chairman, good to see you. Well, you can't shake. How you guys doing? Good to see you. How you guys? It's good to be seen.
Good morning.
I know this old boy here. I had the old folks home one time.
I had fun out there last week, too. Okay, here's your proclamation. Whereas Art Fulbright has lived in Paulding County for over 40 years and retired from a large industrial equipment manufacturing company where he specialized in marketing and sales. And whereas Mr. Fulbright was appointed to the Board of Commissioners on July the 26th, 2005, and served faithfully 15 years, and whereas Mr. Fulbright ensured Paulding County maintained an accurate and timely digest submission to the Georgia Department of Revenue while meeting all statutory requirements, and whereas Mr. Fulbright guaranteed all citizens received fair and respectful treatment by the Paulding County appraisal staff, and whereas Mr. Fulbright has served the citizens of Paulding County for 15 years, therefore I, David L. Carmichael, Chairman of the Paulding County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim December 8th, 2020 as the Art Fulbright Day for his faithful service to the citizens of Paulding County and our community. So congratulations, Mr. Fulbright, for your service. We're proud of you, and it was good to get to know you better. Where you lived the other day.
Yeah, you came by old folks home.
Had a great time learning about your background.
I can make a little safe here. You want to, don't break that camera now. There's that for you. I brought a Sears Roebuck catalog with me, but don't have time to go all the way through it, so I'll just make a quick hello and goodbye. It's been an honor to serve on this board of tax assessors. You learn a lot. I hope you treat the people, both parties, fair. And that's what I have always tried to do. Of course, we have the laws that state of Georgia has published to go by. Sometimes the decision gets a little bit touchy, but as long as you go by the guidelines, you treat everybody equally. That's what you're supposed to do. So I moved here in 1990. This county was about 35,000 people. Today, it's about 165,000. So by me coming to the county, it really grew. I'm responsible for that. But anyway, we have a good chairman, is a fine fella. He came by to see me at the old folks' home. I haven't met you. I knew Davis down there. He came by, bugged me one time back when he was running for commissioner. But I haven't met you two guys, but I think I voted for you, so when I get ready to leave me some money. But I have enjoyed meeting all the people that I have met in this county. We have had a good board, excluding me. Doug Gober is our chairman. He's a first-class guy. He knows his business. James Stokes here is our chief. He's done a good job for us. And the last statement I like to make, I have associated myself with many good employees. I have managed a lot of good employees. But I'm going to stack the tax assessors employees up there with the best. And that's a credit to James. Makes his job much easier when you got good employees. With that statement, you guys just continue to do a good job for Paulding County, and we'll elect you next term. If you don't, we'll vote somebody else. I'll run for commissioner next time. You know, there comes a time in life when you, like an old tire, you wear out. The only difference, you can replace a tire, but it's hard to replace a human being. I haven't seen that happen yet, but I'm working on that end. With that, folks, I appreciate the opportunity to serve this county.
I hope I've done a good job. I'm leaving it up to Doug and the other guys, and James, and you guys. He included him. With that, I'll close my
Thank you, Mr.
little
Fulbright,
remarks.
so much.
Yep.
Proud that we do have other members of the Tax Assessors Board that, they're the only board that meets every week. Pastor Johnny McBurrow is in the back, and Gary Spinks just stood up here. He was on staff. Did I miss anybody, James? Yeah, we had,
Is our chairman,
right.
Gary Spinks, and then John McBurrow. So the only one I think we're missing is Ben Emerson. So
Okay.
I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you all for coming. We have no invited guests this morning. Under bid awards, award the Unified Communications and Contract Center System plus the Dial Tone Services Project to Interdev in the amount of $352,063.61. Ms. Tabitha Pollard to share with us.
Good morning. This was a budgeted expense, so we've already hashed this out one time. We had the budgeted amount was $750,000 for this purchase. That amount was arrived at when we purchased the sheriff's system, the phone system. It was scaled to meet our needs here. So this is a phone system for all of most county offices. So it makes us all able to connect. The phone system we currently have was in place in 2008. So it's got a few years on it. We have handsets that are breaking. We have cords that are breaking. It's end of life. It's not serviceable. And this one that maybe wasn't taken into account early on was the COVID-19 and the ability to be able to set our customer service centers in different locations. So this gives us that ability where we don't have it today. And we received 2 RFPs, so we did based on experience, as well as, the experience and qualifications, the system solution, and cost. The company that scored the highest was Interdev, and they were also the least cost. So we like it when it works out that way. Unless you have any questions.
What's the timetable for installation, please?
I will have to ask Will Lines at IT exactly what the timetable is for installation. Usually it's a couple of months. So a couple of months for the hardware and then a month or so for the installation.
Other questions, concerns? Thank you, Tabitha. I guess we got you for the next one along with Mr. Justus and Mr. Jones. Number 3 on the agenda is Finance and Parks and Recreation. Recommend award of the High Shoals parking lot. It's project number PR IMP 109-1 to the low bidder Helix Group in the amount of $133,299.71. This is located where else? In Post 4.
This has been somewhat a coordinated effort. I'm going to ask George or Michael to give you the specifics on the project because they've worked very hard. We had 4 bidders. The bids ranged from $133,299.71 up to $288,400. And DOT feels like this is a competitive bid. So,
good morning. Giving credit where credit is due, George has worked very hard. George and his staff. It's a property that falls under the jurisdiction of Parks and Recreation. It is heavily used. If you visited that site, if there is anybody else down there, then parking becomes an issue. And that doesn't mean, 10 families, that means 2. So this will address a parking issue. Hopefully, it will ease the flow on that road and comfort the neighbors a little bit, that we can clear that traffic flow up. But again, I'm very appreciative of George and his staff and the work that they've done there. He can give you the technical details of it. He's a lot smarter man than myself. So, George, if you want to, thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael. You're too modest.
Morning.
Morning.
The DOT was tasked to provide a preliminary design for a parking lot at the High Shoals Falls property. As Michael was saying, the current parking lot is dirt, and the available area is not large enough to accommodate the number of people visiting at any one time. In addition, the available area, being it was dirt, it was not efficiently utilized by most folks parking in there. It was never really orderly. It was just kind of come as you go and come as you are, and so the space was not maximized. Visitors to the falls were parking their vehicles on the roadway and also at the High Shoals Baptist Church. We performed some studies out there in August of 2019 to get an estimate of how many people were parking there at any one time, and at that time as many as 16 vehicles were utilizing the falls, and they were parking in that small parking area, parking on the side of the road, or parking at the church. Preliminary engineering was completed earlier this year, and we come up with a design that accommodates 28 parking spaces, including 2 ADA parking spots. We had 4 bidders for this project, and the low bid is Helix Construction in the amount of $133,299.71, and that bid is 15% lower than our engineer's estimate. The DOT will oversee the construction management of the project, and at this time, the project has a March 31st, 2021 completion date for construction. However, depending on when we award the NTP, we may have to modify that a little bit to give them more time, but I see this being ready for opening in springtime.
We used Helix before.
We have not. Our construction division manager, David Huff, looked at their qualifications, talked to their references, and we feel comfortable going forward with this group. And it's always nice to have another option to go to with construction projects. So hopefully it'll work out smoothly.
Any questions?
As far as this has been funded through SPLOST?
Yes, sir. It's good. The Parks and Rec SPLOST has paid for this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This morning we have our quarterly update on county community development by Ms. Ann Lippman, the director. So Ann, thank you for reporting today.
Thank you all, and good morning. Thank you for having me come up and do quarterly. I think it's actually been a biannual report this month, but happy to bring you some permit data from 2020 through November 30th. The number of permits we've issued this year is 5,688. That's up about 300 from last year, which is a little surprising, but you can see our low points were in the spring. Just the split of the most types of permits. Talk a little bit more about this in a few slides. We've hit a 10-year high for building master, which is your single-family attached and detached permits. You can see the other top or trades, residential structures, commercial permits, pools, still a lot of people getting pools, and building occupancy. Inspections follow permits. The more permits you have, the more inspections you have. If you look at the number of permits historically, going back to 2011, you can see the growth of the blue line is single family and the red is non-residential. We have 1,600 building masters as of this year, which tops our 2 highest previous years were 2017 and 2018. If you look at the value, there's a big, you might issue more permits, but the value of single family and detached detached and non-residential. This year, we've had about $43 million of value in construction compared to $144 million in single-family. This one's a little hard to see, but this top chart is the breakdown, how many posts, the breakdown between post 1, 2, 3, and 4. Post 4 does continue to have the most permits issued. And the second chart shows how that breaks down growth. The base number is the rough 2010 population, and you can see how each post has grown over the past 10 years. Do hope in the future to coordinate with the City of Dallas. We, of course, permit for unincorporated Paulding County and Hiram. So my numbers don't include Dallas permit data, so I hope in the future to be able to include that. Top subdivisions, the top number of permits is still in properties that aren't located in subdivisions. This pie chart over here breaks down, the majority of those are located in Post 2 and Post 4. This list, for the first time, Post 1 has the two most popular subdivisions that are permitting. That's Oakley Point, Pickett's Ridge, and Citizen Square, with the following 4 being in Post 4. This chart shows the number of top builders. D.R. Horton is by far the top permitter, and this list just shows who the top 6 permit are. Moving on to business licenses, we've got some good news here. We've had an increase from last year by about 5% in business licenses, and the total there shows how much revenue we've collected. One thing I wanted to feature was business license was one of the first divisions to go. You can renew or you can initiate your business license online. So for the first half of this year, we had about 20% of people using the online portal and 80% using traditional methods, either calling, coming in person, or mailing. So for the 2021 renewal set, that's gone up about 16%. So the online is 36%, and in person, the traditional methods is 64%. And I would encourage anyone who's interested in using this, we do have some tutorials on how to create an account and how to link an existing account so that you can use the online portal. And my last slide is just the the home-based versus commercial. And this does show, we've got 30 more commercial businesses than we did this time last year. But there's also an increase. We've had an increase altogether. So the split is still about 73% home occupations, 27% commercial locations. And that is presentation for the end of 2020, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that anybody might have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I have no one who signed up this morning for public participation on agenda items. Consent agenda I'm required to read is the following 5 items. Item number 4 is approve a transfer station gate fee of $10 surcharge per mattress effective January 1st, 2021. Item number 5, declare the following item listed as surplus and approve the disposal through auction or trade. It's through the Department of Transportation. Their Unit 150, 2007 Sterling, with serial number 2FZAA5 Delta Charlie 67 Alpha X-ray 84767. Item number 6 is to authorize the chairman to sign an acknowledgement form agreement with the Norfolk Southern Railway Company for ATMS Phase 2-P I number 0013148 in Paulding County. And number 7 is approve the indigent care contract for probate and magistrate courts and to authorize the chairman to execute the contract. Number 8 is to confirm the 2021 Paulding County Board of Commissioners designated holiday schedule. Would any of the commissioners like to place any of these items into regular business for further discussion?
Dave, I have a question on number 4 for council, if I could, please.
Please, go ahead.
Does this, the surcharge per mattress, is that intended to also include like a box spring? And does wording need to be set accordingly so that there's no confusion either way on that going forward?
My understanding is it would intend to include both a mattress and a box spring. The rationale of the surcharge being that these structures, mattress and box springs, very lightweight but also very volume consuming. And the surcharge is being imposed because the immense volume of those structures, they take up significant space in the transport trucks that haul the waste off away from the transportation or away from the transfer station, such that the county is losing money by filling all this volume with such items that could ordinarily be used for
Right,
more heavier
I understand that. That makes sense. Is there some clarification that needs to be made somewhere, or is that just
We
part
can
of the
make it
policy?
for the regular meeting to just make sure it's.
Because I know if we don't say
mattress and box
something now, in 4 months, there's going to be a guy with a mattress and a box spring confused about why it's happening twice.
Sure.
Okay.
Anything to add, Frank?
No, Mr. Chairman. We can, after the work session is complete, we can get with Bruce Coyle and have that discussion and then be prepared for the afternoon session to have a report back on that.
Okay. Thank you, Ron, for bringing that up. That's excellent anticipation. Okay, so we will take that off the agenda item and put it on the regular.
Likely what is to happen, Mr. Chairman, is to just be clarified and will remain on the consent agenda.
Yeah, I wasn't asking to move it to the regular session.
Okay. Everybody's,
That's what I was trying to get clarification. I'm good. I understand that there's an additional cost for disposing of those, and I understand why we're doing this. I just wanted to make sure that we understood what we were voting on and that that's communicated effectively to the people who will be charging the fees as well as to the people who will be paying it. So if it's $10 per mattress or box, if it's $10 per pair, if it's, I just was looking to get clarification so there's not any confusion going forward.
all right, we have no old business this morning. Under new business, we got several items. Number 9 is discuss action to authorize the chairman to sign the 2021 Transportation Services Contract with Transit Alliance Group, Incorporated. Ms. Pollard.
This is an item in relation to the 5311 transit buses. So we received money from GDOT. It isn't enough to to fund the entire program. And Transit Alliance is a subcontractor or a contractor for DHS, and they have a program that will fund some of the transportations that we're currently doing. So this isn't an additional service that we will be providing. We're already providing the service. This just allows us to collect the revenue that's available to us for providing that service. So the amount of the contract it depends on the ridership, but it's estimated to be about $37,000.
Thank you, Tabitha. Item number 10 is discuss action to approve the Croy Engineering proposal to begin design and engineering for Phase 2 of Mulberry Rock Park at a cost of $70,900. Mr. Michael Justus is located in Post 2.
Good morning again. As you are aware, all of our construction projects through Parks and Recreation are funded by SPLOST dollars, and as such, then we end up developing most of our parks in phases. Phase 2 of Mulberry Rock Park basically consists of connecting the front of the park to the back, which will also create a pond that was planned in the initial design. By doing such, those two big mounds of dirt that are there in the back of the park might not make some people happy, but those will go away. They become a play structure in themselves. But what this will do is it will design and engineer that. That road will eventually become the dam to pond the water based upon acquiring permits, et cetera.
Of course, we want to know about fish.
I would imagine it would be the same as the others, as long as we are allowing public fishing, and DNR has always told us that they will stock it for us for free. So we'll make certain that that happens as well. Just have to wait a little while.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
On number 11, it's discuss action to enter into a contract with Corey Engineering for the design, engineering, and replacement plans for a new pavilion and an outdoor basketball court at Taylor Farm Park in the amount of $56,105. This is located in Post 3.
Yes, sir. If you've been to Taylor Farm, you've seen the big pole barn structure that is there on the site. It is the only structure that was there when we bought the property 20-plus years ago, and it's seeing the end of its life. It is leaning and can become a safety hazard pretty quickly, so we need to get that removed. When we do that, it creates some other opportunities for us to add some new amenities. Of course, we'll have to replace that pavilion, and as mentioned in our master plan, there's a desire for some outdoor basketball courts as well. So we can address both of those with this project. And as you mentioned, it is a SPLOST project as well.
Hey, thank you, Michael.
Yes, sir.
Item number 12, discuss action to adopt ordinance 20-14, enacting an ordinance for the timing of appointments under the jurisdiction of the Board of Commissioners. Mr. Phillips.
Commissioners, it has long been the practice in Paulding County that appointments to serve upcoming terms for various committees, authorities, and boards that are appointed by this board, that traditionally occurs during the last meeting in December. This is an ordinance that would act to change that, to make those appointments to occur at the first meeting in January. The rationale behind this is that it will allow those elected officials coming into office for the first time to participate in making those appointments for those officials that will serve concurrently with the newly elected officials. This ordinance would have the effect of essentially applying this across the board unless the Board of Commissioners deems it necessary to do an earlier appointment. And it would make these appointments consistent with how things work at both the state and federal levels of government. Be happy to answer any questions.
I'll just say thank you, Jason, for your work on that. It's one of those things that's been a little odd. Some people just don't understand, and I know I never really understood it either. So I appreciate your help on getting this together so that we can figure this out and get it right going forward.
It's Rebecca's fault because she always likes to get things done a month early. For the record, I was just kidding. Item number 13 is discuss action to adopt Resolution 20-42 in support of the proposed high-level strategic plan as co-sponsors of the Paulding Northwest Atlanta Airport. Of course, the airport's located in Post 2, and Frank Baker's going to report on this one.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Several weeks ago, Airport Director Terry Tibbetts had a public hearing out at the airport that was pretty comprehensive, and it talked about what the vision is for the next 5 years or so at the airport. So Mr. Tibbetts got with me and basically said that he was requesting an agenda item to allow the board to consider as co-sponsors to adopt that vision and that plan. And that's it's just the adoption of the plan, much like we would have, say, Georgia Jones submit a 5-year plan for DOT. So there's no funding involved with this at all, but this will allow for Mr. Tibbetts to go forward with the things that he needs to do with the FAA and to seek grants from the FAA, to seek grants from the state DOT, and that sort of thing in the future. And these are elements within the plan, various things that they're hoping to accomplish out there. So that's what this is just the board considering, as a co-sponsor, adopting that vision for the next 5 years or so. But I just want to emphasize to the board and to the public that this is not, if the board was to approve this, this is not a mechanism for funding of any of these projects that are out there with this vision and plan. So I'll be happy to take any questions. And I see Terry out there in the back. I appreciate you being here in case there's a question I can't answer. I always appreciate seeing Terry and Yolanda. Thanks, Yolanda, for coming also. But that, in essence, is what it is. It would be a resolution for your consideration at the afternoon session.
Everybody good? Item number 14, discuss action to authorize the chairman to approve and execute the application for the Georgia Department of Transportation fiscal year 2021 local maintenance and improvement grant called LMIG in the amount of $1,782,124.48 and approve the required 30% match funds of $534,637.34. The match will be allotted from general funds. Mr. Jones.
All right. We're requesting the board to authorize the chairman to approve and execute the LMIG contract funding from the Georgia Department of Transportation. The LMIG is funded itself from the state motor vehicle fuel tax collection. The LMIG grants each city and county receives its formula is based upon the county's population and the county's centerline road mileage based on the state's population and the state's centerline road mileage. Paulding County, based on the formula amount, will receive $1,782,124.48. That's 11% lower than last year's FY 2020 LMIG grant. By law, Paulding County is required to provide a 30% match to receive the LMIG funds, which equals $534,637.34. Like you said, our match funds are requested to come from general funds. We plan on using this LMIG to put towards paving of roads. To receive the funding, we're required to complete an application containing the work to be accomplished, provide a project list, cost estimate, and an anticipated let date. The project list includes 8 roads. We're not committed to this list. We can add, omit, change roads in the project listing. We just have to let GDOT know about that. We're required to provide the application back to GDOT by February 1st, 2021. We're requesting the chairman to authorize over $500,000 in funding from the county. We felt it was important to come before the board and request this formally. And I can answer any questions if you have any.
You've coached me several times, but maybe for the benefit of post commissioners or the audience, how the roads are graded or the priority list developed.
The last couple of years, we've used basically a formula that was developed by the Georgia Department of Transportation. It's called COPACES CC. GDOT themselves uses COPACES CC as city county. So what we do is we grade the roads based on the damage to them, the cracking, the horizontal cracking, the transverse cracking, alligator cracking, potholes, and at this point in time, what we do is we do our worst first road. So the roads that are in the worst condition, those rise up higher on the priority list. We try to take care of those roadways. A good roadway, depending like an arterial like Dallas-Ackworth Highway, has a lot of heavy trucks, gets a lot of damage versus, let's say, a smaller roadway that serves only local traffic. It can usually last a lot longer. So, again, you're looking, not all roads last 20 years or 30 years or 15. You have to look at the type of traffic that goes on them.
So that's a new term for me, alligator crack. What is that?
Alligator, if you actually go out and look at it, you look down, it looks like an alligator skin, so it's called alligator cracking. So not really theoretical by any stretch of the imagination, but more of a layman's term. We have all kinds
What are we if not laymen?
We have all kinds of terms, Ron, in this profession, trust me.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Item number 15, discuss action to adopt resolution 20-43 to provide for the levy and collection of an annual ad valorem tax to provide funds for the payment of the principal of and interest on the $26 million, $275,000 in aggregate principal amount of Paulding County School District General Obligation Sales Tax Bonds, Series 2020. Ms. Pollard.
This is a request that's made of you from the school system. So about 6 years ago, the school system passed an e-lost that basically set their millage rate for debt, for bonds, down to 0. And they used their sales tax collections to pay for that. In 2019, they had a renewal. It allowed for payment of the debt as well as some additional capital purchases and allowed for the financing of those capital purchases. So the school board has requested to issue these bonds. They will provide infrastructure, new buildings, additional capital outlay to the school system. And in turn, they don't anticipate you having to levy a tax to pay these bonds, but anytime you issue a general obligation bond, it is backed by the tax levy. And so this is just saying if the sales tax is not available to pay the debt, that you will levy the tax to be able to make those payments.
Questions?
May have something else to add. Anything else, Jason?
Everybody good? Thank you.
No, it's just school district. I think forgive me if you mentioned this, the improvements to the buildings, expansions of the buildings, renovations of the buildings, and possibly one new school building.
Thank you, Tabitha. Item 16 is discuss action to approve the gravity sewer line installation at Old Griffin Road along the entrance of Costco with Wade Coots Company at the proposed unit rates with an estimated total of $97,005. Ms. Ashmore, Costco is located in Post 1.
I'm taking the approach that a picture's worth 1,000 words. So let me just pull up this map. Currently, our Old Griffin sewer pump station utilizes a 6-inch force main that is for a distance of 2,700 feet from the station to the intersection of Evans Mill Road and First National Drive, crossing under Charles Hardy Parkway. That is the line in yellow on the map. With the widening the entrance into Costco off of Old Griffin, we have an opportunity to shorten that force main by about 1,200 feet and eliminate that crossing under Highway 120. The sewer flow would be directed by gravity into the system that will cross the Costco site and flow through the new crossing of Highway 120 further to the east. This project involves construction of 526 feet of gravity sewer that is shown in green on the map. We solicited quotes from 3 contractors, and the low estimate was $97,005 by Wade Coots Company. And they are, upon your approval, they are prepared to initiate work so that they get that sewer line in without impacting DOT's schedule.
So I guess what you just said is coordinating with DOT schedule?
Correct. Yes. In fact, I think we had a phone call yesterday just checking on what the status was so that we can make sure that that's going in time. This is this is really an opportunity that has presented itself through this DOT construction to Costco. Otherwise, would not have this on your list.
Thank you, Lori. And item number 17. Are you finished?
No, I've got 17 too.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, discuss action to enter into a development agreement with Williams Gregory Coots to relinquish a 400 linear foot permanent sewer easement, 20 foot wide, in exchange for labor and equipment to install approximately 589 linear feet of 8-inch gravity sewer along Duncan Circle in the Sunnyland Industrial Park. This one's located in Post 3.
I'd like to recognize Greg Coots, who's with us this morning in the back, should you have any questions for him as well. In 2016, we, through a U.S. Economic Development Administration grant, ran sewer along Pogue Crossing in Sunnyland Industrial Park. The project was originally larger and was going to be on Duncan Circle as well, but with when the bids came in at the level they did, we limited our sewer construction to Pogue. The layout of the sewer originally along Duncan Circle was crossed lot number 36 diagonally, rendering the back part of that lot really unusable. And it was a 400-foot permanent easement. When that lot was purchased by Mr. Coots, he inquired about relinquishing the easement in exchange for extending some sewer for us to continue getting the rest of that toward getting the rest of Sunnyland on sewer. We have the sewer that is part of this development agreement is on the west side of Lot 37 to the south side of Lot 36. We are also exploring additional extension of sewer on Duncan Circle. We have a business located on Duncan Circle that is desiring to expand in its present location. But this extension will be discussed separately from the development agreement in order to comply with public bidding requirements. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Greg, for being here and all the work you do around Paulding County. That's the conclusion of all the new business items. We do have an update that just came in on the mattress surcharge, so we can all be informed better about that one.
Mr. Chairman, as Commissioner Davis identified, we are only laymen, and I'm only a layman when it comes to mattresses, but I've consulted with the county's expert and director of the Department of Old Mattresses, Mr. Scott Green, and he indicates that the surcharge only applies to mattresses. It does not apply to box springs. Box springs will compact better than mattresses, apparently. So just to clarify that issue.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good to get that clarified. Thank you, Scott. Assume he's listening in. Okay, we have no public participation sign up for non-agenda items. I'd like to ask the commissioners, starting with Post 4 Commissioner Brian Stover, if he has any comments or announcements or words of wisdom.
Yeah, I'd like to announce, and actually I'd like to start off thanking Ron and Todd Pownell and Tony with getting this started. But it's fire station number 12. I know y'all's there last year, and I guess your second year y'all started this project, and being close to my house, I talked to Todd a good bit about it and was glad to see it finally get started, and really glad to see it come to intuition. So there'll be a groundbreaking that's not open to the public because of COVID and restrictions, but today at 3:30 there'll be a ceremony, and hopefully to have it staffed coming this Monday, the 14th. So thank you, Joey. Thank you, Ron, and everyone that was involved.
Mr. Hart?
Yeah, I thought I was a public safety guy. So,
My post.
yeah, I know it is. All right. But I
voted for the thing.
I want to thank Ron. I appreciate serving with you this past 2 years. I think this is your last one, isn't it?
2 o'clock.
And I just want you to know that I've grown a lot of admiration for you, and I appreciate the debate we've had, over the past 2 years. I appreciate the insight that you've given me behind closed doors, and thank you for serving the county.
Thank you, Chuck.
Well, Ron, I'm going to let you go next, and then I'll wrap up.
Well, I was at dinner last night, and I point blank asked the question. I asked Kirsten, did you text half the county, and asked them to text me? And she said no, and I got like 3 or 4 texts last night, so I was like, okay, whatever. Since I've been in this meeting, hold on, Coop, they shut down schools this spring, and all the kids went home, and like Brett and Sam there on the end were running in the woods and like being boys. Cooper went home and wrote a book and self-published it on Amazon, and has political aspirations of his own, and he lives in Post 4, Brian, so watch out. You hear young people say, I'll be president one day. He might actually do it. So thank you for being here, Cooper. And my brother Kevin and his wife Julie are in the back. Not really my brother and sister-in-law, but close enough. Anyway, I appreciate you all being here, and it means a lot.
Thank you. I've actually got a couple of things I'd like to start out with, just thanking the Rotary for the tremendous Christmas parade that they planned, organized, and carried out on Saturday. It was a great event. I think that there might be a short video here, 1 minute or less, from the public information team.
Here is our Paulding County Board of Commissioners. It looks like, I think we're going to throw it down to John in a minute, but not quite yet. But it looks like on the float we've got our Commission Chairman, Mr. Dave Carmichael, County Administrator Frank Baker, Post 1 Commissioner Ron Davis. We've got Post 2 Commissioner Sandy Caker, and Post 3 Commissioner Chuck Hart, and Post 4 Commissioner Mr. Brian Stover.
So, John, have you rounded up anybody? Which one of them are going to fight to speak with you today?
I think we've got John with, looks like Mr. Frank Baker. Take it away, John.
Thank you there, Ashley. Hey, come on in here, Frank. We're here with Frank Baker, County Manager. Frank, just want to wish you a Merry Christmas this year, you and your family. We're here with the whole Paulding County Board of Commissioners. We just got the whole shooting match here today, and we got our Commission Chairman driving the vehicle today, I understand.
Cab driving.
So you're the mouthpiece today.
Well, we got a bunch of folks here, and I'm sure
You can always find politicians that want to talk, can't you? Who wants to wish everybody a Merry Christmas?
Merry Christmas.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be with each and every one of you guys. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for your dedication, and we hope y'all have a Merry Christmas. Thank the Rotary Club always. Frank, Merry Christmas to you and your family. Thank you for everything. Back up to you, Stacy.
Okay, I just wanted to put a big shout out to the Rotary Club. They're so vital to our community. And finally, I would like to add an additional thanks to Ron Davis for his value-added, his service. There have been occasions when I've just asked him to come in the office to consult about certain issues, and he always has brought insight and wisdom to the topic. So he's definitely made a contribution, Ron, and you'll be missed.
Thanks, Dave.
I will see if we can get a motion to go into executive session for the purposes of pending and potential litigation.
I'll make that motion, Dave.
A motion by Commissioner Davis. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Commissioner Stover. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned to executive session.